Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Cooper Ash with DS Sports as always, and as you can see, I've joined by three of my guests. We've got Sean, Cammy, and Bon with us today. Um, we haven't got Lewis this week. He's got a few other commitments he needs to sort out at the moment. So he might be back with us next week. He may well not. We don't know. He's got a few things that are keeping him busy at the moment. So we'll be joined by three guests today. How are we doing, gentlemen? First of all, nice Saturday afternoon.
Awful.
Aye, we're fine.
I just lagged out for like the biggest deal. Just went robotic. Oh, well.
As you can see, we've got one of our guests who is very well dressed up. We'll come on to that in a second. There's a big news story kicking about today, which is, well, it's quite big. If you're two of these people, one of those, as we've said, is dressed up superbly. Big news in Scottish football today is that Tommy Wright has left his post at St Johnstone Football Club as first team manager of 7 years. Arguably the club's greatest ever manager, and taking the club to heights that were probably seen as unreachable at times. I might be the one, maybe too quick to judge on that one, but we've got Sean and Don, two lifelong, dare I say, St Johnstone fans who have been, keeping track of what's going on today. Sean, first of all, your thoughts on the dismissal, well, not dismissal, but the resignation, it seems, or the mutual termination of Tommy Wright's contract today.
Yeah, absolutely gutted, to be honest with you. As you see, I'm in mourning for Tommy. No, to be fair, it's an absolutely gutted one, to be honest with you. He is the greatest manager we've ever had, and it'll be very difficult for somebody to surpass his achievements. So best of luck to him, because he deserves it, and thank you for all his efforts at St Johnstone, because I think every fan will see the same as that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like we say, biggest achievement probably the 2014 Scottish Cup, defeating local rivals Dundee United 2-0 at Celtic Park. We know that. Similarly, Sean was there. Don, were you there that day, I think?
Of course.
Yeah, of course, no problem. Yeah. No doubt one of the biggest...
The only reason for him being there was because it was at Celtic Park.
when you've been at Ibrox.
Certainly one of the best days in the club's history, and some European ties that came off of the back of that, Don.
Yeah, just want to echo what Sean says. You can't really disagree with that. Fantastic boss. Very consistent too. I mean, we were consistently a top 6 team from about 2014 to about 2017. Solid. And yeah, he just brought a lot of fame to the club. Obviously, the cup win's the big part. I mean, we've done all we could, I would say, in Scottish football. We got third a few times, won our fair share of leagues, etc. But the cup win was the one that all Saints fans wanted, and he got that. And that was, for us, the biggest achievement of all time, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, certainly. To do it in the manner as well, to beat Dundee United, a great Dundee United side as well, like Andy Robertson, and your Chiefs using this Stuart Armstrong, Gary Mackay-Steven as well, and
Ryan Gold
as well.
The best player out of all of them was John Souttar, though.
Yeah, as well, and then so it was a brilliant team that they beat as well, and it was certainly in that season it was certainly they didn't have the best of records against Dundee United that season. Was it not a big defeat in there as well, or was that?
We did lose 4 first game,
out.
but then we won the next 3.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I remember there was a big defeat earlier on in that season, but
that was horrible, yeah.
Yeah. But certainly, Cammy's an onlooker. I mean, obviously, maybe not. You've been more of a St Johnstone skeptic in recent weeks on the show, but
that's just for all the patter, isn't it?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Tommy Wright's a good manager, but I think he'll struggle to find anybody that sort of betters, like these two have said, sort of betters the achievements that he's got with the club. All I'll say now is we might see each other in the Championship in a couple of seasons' time. I reckon you are going to snowball and go down. Just to stick the boot in there, but I mean, you've got a young team and stuff, but yeah, I think he's a struggle next season anyway.
Yeah, it's certainly the risk of the new manager bounce for sure, and then we'll see what happens from there. But there's been some rumours going about, and certainly it could be quite concrete rumours that part of the termination could be the vacant Northern Ireland job that is on the market at the moment.
That's the job that he's going for.
Michael O'Neill recently stepped down to focus on Stoke City, his club side, and certainly big shoes to fill there, and potentially Tommy Wright's the man to do so.
Yeah, I hope he gets it. I think it's a job he wants. I think it's a job he deserves. And to be honest with you, that would be a sum of comfort to us really as Johnson fans to see him get the job he wants, because he's done everything for us he can, and to be honest with you, he deserves it. So I hope he gets it, and good luck to him if he does.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly one of the biggest names out. Certainly one of the big names linked to it. Stephen Robinson linked to it as well. But certainly the Motherwell job that he's doing at the moment is certainly might lead him to not being. I think I know the vacant nature of Tommy Wright at the moment. But
Don, how upset will you be? The pair of you, how upset if he ends up at Hearts next season?
The thing is, his wife is now living back home, so I don't think he'll take any job outside of Northern Ireland, to be honest. I'm surprised.
He's moved back to Ireland.
I'd love it if he come to Hearts. That would just be funny. He's a good manager, but
I think it's the age thing too, Pat. I think he's the right age for the national job. He's what, 56, 57?
Yeah, I think I heard he was 56. Yeah,
I reckon.
Yeah.
I think I might favour him in the process of recruitment, to be honest.
He does deserve it. He does deserve that job. I hope he gets it, because it's a job he wants. You can tell he's been part of that squad before, and it's a job he wants. And
yeah, it would suit him perfectly.
Yeah, I'd be happy if he got that. I would say that would be a comfort if he got that one, to be honest.
We might see McCann get a full international debut if that happens too. That might be
definitely Irish.
Brand new.
He'll certainly have a couple of familiar faces in that side with Mike Kennedy as well. You've got like you say, Ali McCann, and certainly some names that potentially might
Paul
move for Tommy Wright to be in charge of the national team. So but yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk. I mean, I've seen on social media and stuff that St Johnstone fans calling for some kind of long-standing tribute to Tommy Wright, as in the form of, well, I think I did bring up a statue earlier on to you guys, but maybe that's me being a bit.
St Johnstone haven't got enough money in the kitty for that. That'll be made of tinfoil.
But certainly. But yeah, certainly some stand naming rights. You know, we've got the east stand opposite the main stand that is certainly vacant for a name. You've got obviously the Ormond stand, you've got the main stand as well, but and then the away stand, which will probably not be named. But certainly east stand could be a thought, and I know that both Don and Sean have endorsed this as well.
Signed the petition, mate. Done.
Yeah, we want it in Parliament.
East stand, the Tommy Wright stand.
Nicola must support.
Yeah.
Pochettino will be by it.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then that brings on to the next question. You know, there's a lot of now. It's kind of an odd one, this one, because you look at most jobs, like you look at most other jobs, and you think, well, there might be the obvious candidate there, but for St Johnstone, with it being like a one-city team, there's no real affiliations with many clubs. There's not many figures that you can associate with him with being in that job, and it's a club of slightly unusual size as well, with it being a one-city club as well. So it's not the biggest job in the league, but it's a bigger job now that Tommy Wright's left the club.
Yeah.
A job that a lot of folk will actually want and maybe look at. I mean, it's quite, on paper, it's quite a good squad. Got guys like McCann and Kerr are coming through who might be sold on in the future for quite a bit of cash. And I think also we finished 8th last year, or 7th. So we've not actually been firing, I would say, the last 2 years. So if somebody comes in and maybe even gets top 6, then that could be a sort of an achievement that could be realistic, I would say. So it's not a job that folks should maybe fear in taking.
Would you gamble? Would you gamble with a young manager like a Barry Ferguson or somebody like that?
Personally, I would look at Liam Craig to come in and probably be the assistant, but maybe manager in a year's
That's
time.
difficult, though.
I
Do you not
think
think that'd be
that
difficult? Where, like, obviously he's played in the squad for how long's Liam Craig been with us? He's been at
Well,
least 3 years.
he did years, but he's been there since like 06 or 07, so he's been there for
Yeah,
like
so
it's always around.
you then like go from playing to coaching. I think that's been like well documented. That's quite a hard thing.
I don't know with
Uh,
for us, so it just depends.
Yeah, I suppose of a job of that size as well, and you've got likes of. I mean, we talked about this before. Dave Mackay, he went down to Stirling Albion, didn't have the greatest time down there, and that's a mid-table League Two side. So yeah, it's perfectly valid what Cammy's saying, but certainly somebody of, that knows the club well, it's easy to think, in this sort of situation where it is quite a surprise that, somebody like that would maybe be a viable option. But
I would
as well.
I would be looking at, to be honest, the person I would look at would be Callum Davidson. Try to get Callum Davidson back from Millwall. He's working the guy out at the minute. I'd try and get him back. Obviously, he was assistant when we won the Scottish Cup in 2014. Try and get him back as the manager. I'd try to listen to him on Sports Sound there, but they were talking to Neil Doncaster first, so that was a waste of time. But Callum Davidson would be good, and then obviously he knows the club, so you're looking at players like Liam Craig and Stephen McLean, even because he's out of contract at Hearts as assistant manager. And
you can have him back.
I would take him as a coach because he's one of those people that he kens the club as well, and he kens it at Firefall Cup. So I would take him as your assistant manager. Him and Liam Craig assistants, and try and get Callum the door as the manager, and just kind of see what happens there, because that's the best option I see at the minute.
Yeah, I would say for me the three names are Craig, John Robertson, and Callum Davidson. I would like at least two of them to have a role in the club, to be honest.
Yeah, certainly the bookies at the moment seem to have John Robertson as quite a decent favourite at the moment by something that I was screenshot earlier. I know obviously he's done a great job at Inverness, took them to a couple of cup semi-finals and well, I mean, I had the lower league cup final coming up. Well, was coming up prior to the split, prior to the postponement of the pandemic. Scottish Cup quarter final this year as well. Former Hearts legend, you could say as well. And yeah, what's the thoughts on John Robertson potentially coming in? Is it the right time for him?
Sorry. I think he's got a legacy of working with obviously a small budget up in Inverness, and I would say that it'll be not Saints have an okay budget. It's not as bad as it's sometimes documented, but I think he could be working within a sort of a smaller budget and would also promote youth players, which has been our sort of main change. I would say Tommy tried to in the last 2 years to promote a team of maybe who are maybe 31, 32 average age to a team with young players who can be sold on for money in the future. I think Robertson would sort of continue with that project almost.
I don't know. It's a weird one for me because it's not really somebody I thought of straight away. It's not somebody we really normally would go for. It's somebody that's kind of been around and done a lot of those kind of things, like been a lot of other Scottish clubs. It's not something we normally do when we recruit managers in the past. You think of Steve Lomas, Tommy Wright, even further back than that. Owen Coyle and that wasn't heard of before. We took him on. Surprised me. It wouldn't. What kind of rings true to me is that when McCart and Rooney have now come to us, he's not actually lost the plot at Inverness, which makes me think maybe there's something going on in the background for a while. But in the same respect, it wasn't somebody that I would. I'm 50-50 with him. It wouldn't fill me, but it'd be devastating. I would be.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
And again, I would say, I think in a dream world, my two would be either Gary Holt at Livingston, who I don't think we would be able to get, to be honest, or obviously Jody Morris, who would be now a dream sort of candidate because of what he's doing. But I think maybe 2-3 years ago, Jody could be a realistic choice if it happened a wee while ago.
Do you think it'll be a safe appointment then? You don't think they'll gamble? Do you know what I mean? There'll no gamble on a lower league manager like Ferguson, Hartley.
Don't know.
I've seen Dan Young was coached for it as well and stuff like that. And Dan Young's done a decent job with East Fife, but it's a bit of a gamble, to be honest. You need somebody who knows the club, and I think that's what we've always gone by. And I think that's what we should stick by, because we've been successful doing that. So
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on what you kind of see as a gamble as well. I mean, there's obviously John Robertson could be construed as a gamble, even though he's
I think he is a gamble though, as the
he's a big name as well.
as a gamble.
And then big name and a big job, and then you've got, it's kind of really anything's a gamble, 'cause you've not had history of rotating managers in some respects as most other clubs in the Premiership have. So you don't know exactly what the trend is of what managers you've had. You can only really look to kind of historic past when you've had like Lomas, McInnes, things
Coyle
like that.
and we haven't sacked a manager since Billy Stark, which was
Right.
how long ago was that done? About 18 years ago, 19 years ago.
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, so we've had 4 managers since then. We've all left on good terms, all gone to bigger clubs, or
Yeah.
Tommy Wright. I don't know what Tommy Wright's doing, but we seem to get it right. So I think we should just stick with what we're doing with that. I don't know what that is. Let's say Owen Coyle played for us, went as manager. Then McInnes played for us, went as manager. Then Jeff Brown left, and Steve Brown came in. They brought in Steve Lomas and
Yeah.
Tommy at that point, and that worked out well. Bit different, but this is Steve Brown's first kind of real appointment, because Tommy Wright kind of was just like, all right, you're the assistant, so you can just be the manager now. Pretty much was what happened. This is the first
Boys,
time we got somebody in.
Left field suggestion. Roy Keane.
Wow.
No.
An interesting
More
appointment.
money working on Sky Sports than I would for managing you, so I
Time's over.
don't think so.
Can you imagine the crowd the next? They'd be streaming, and Patty would have his manuscript on.
Right, can you sign it, please?
One final quick point on it, just before we move on. With all due respect, look at Cammy, I'll put this question to you. You've obviously as a Hearts fan, you've had a couple of relatively high profile appointments of both ends of the scale that we talked about when we talked about,
Afro,
I mean, specifically the last 2 managers, it's been kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. You've had Craig Levein coming off the board of directors and come in and take the helm, and then you've had Daniel Stendhal, who's very much he's obviously a foreign manager, but one that had worked at Barnsley and things like that. But yeah, I mean, you can see kind of
I think
what both of the gambles could look like.
I think with Saints you have to be very careful, because obviously it's not a big club. It's got financial backing, but it's not got obviously hundreds of thousands and millions. You know what I mean? So I think you do need to get somebody that does promote youth, that does know the club, but then at the same time it depends what sort of football you want to play, because you could easily bring in do what St Mirren done with Jim Goodwin, and sort of just to consolidate and try and not go down. But I think it really needs to reflect the ambition of St Johnstone, whether they want to kick on and be a top 6 club, or whether they're quite happy being a Hamilton, just like, do you know what I mean? And I think that will be interesting to see in terms of who they appoint, because if they appoint these lesser known managers who maybe doesn't, like a Barry Ferguson or a Hartley or something like that, do you know what I mean? It's risky, because you do have the risk of they don't know the club, they've not got the financial stuff and like the financial backing. So I think it needs to really be like a really well thought out. And I think, to be honest, it's ideal Tommy Wright going at this time, because if you look at what Hearts done wrong, was Hearts were like, I see Craig Levein in January, he didn't appoint anybody till they had like a month where we were just sitting waiting in the middle of the season, where Saints are probably doing it in the right way, whereas they've got the time to figure out who they will. I think Owen Coyle would be an interesting one for me, and see what he's able to do in the Premiership, obviously. But I think it's a really important one, because if you get it wrong and you go with a less experienced individual who doesn't know the club, you've got the risk then that you do what Hearts have done, you're sitting at the bottom of January and you've got a mountain to climb to stay in the division, sort of thing. So I think it really is, it's one of the ones that needs to be the right appointment. But I think it's came at such a good time, in the sense that it's given the best sort of opportunity to look at candidates, because obviously there's not much going on in the sporting world at the moment. So
Yeah, You've got time on your side at least now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
I think that's what Hearts done wrong, was that Hearts probably fannied about a bit. Do you know what I mean? And messed about, and eventually we got Stendhal. But the thing is that the other thing is it would be good. I think a good thing for Saints is whoever you get's going to have a full pre-season with the sort of start of the squad. Do you know what I mean? Stendhal never had that, and in the first 3 games, like, I know we won against Rangers, but that was a fluke. But I think this timing's probably one of the best things about it, and I think fair play to Tommy Wright for doing it now rather than sort of hanging off. I think that's class, and I think that Tommy Wright's a really good manager as well. But yeah, it would be good if we got another Ireland job.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we'll leave it there just now. I'm sure there'll be many more developments on that to come in possibly the near future. We don't know. I mean, there's a lot of, like I say, there's a lot of time in our hands. We don't know the certainty of what's happening in the top flight at the moment. Moving on, gentlemen, I set you a challenge earlier on this week. The challenge was that you had to make a Premiership 11 in the Scottish Premiership, but you could not select more than one player from any club. And whoever was the club you left behind, the management would be the management of your team.
Start with managers. What managers have you all got, boys?
Don't you go, you start with it.
I've got Brian Rice.
We've got Hal, we've got Brian Rice, yeah, okay.
I've got Mr. Jim Goodwin.
Got Jim Goodwin at St Mirren, okay. Interesting.
I've got Stephen Ferguson and Stuart Kettlewell, Ross County.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm the
Tell
same
him
up
you
there as well. I'm with the joint managers as well. So first of all, we'll go to, we've lost on Eisner's video for a minute, but Sean, we'll go to you first. Your starting 11 information first of all.
4-2-3-1.
Okay, 4-2-3-1. Okay. Starting off in goal.
You said an 8-4-2-3-1. I was like, what we're playing.
So in goal and your defence and so on.
Right, so in goal, we have Livingston goalkeeper, Robbie McCrory.
Okay.
Had a very, very good game against the Giants. He's played 8 games since he came in January, and he's been very, very good for Livingston since he's come in. Right back, Kilmarnock right back, Stephen O'Donnell.
Okay.
Centre back, Hibs centre back, Paul Hanlon.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Other centre back, Hearts centre back, Craig Halkett.
Oh, you're on one.
And left back, St Mirren left back, Callum Waters.
Yeah, you must have been drinking too much at the funeral. Wait, jeez,
No, on honesty though, O'Donnell obviously has always been solid at Kilmarnock.
O'Donnell's quality,
yeah, but they've always been really, really good at Kilmarnock.
Paul Hanlon and Halkett have not got a bit of pace between them.
Well, Paul Hanlon's solid, to be fair. I like Paul Hanlon. He knows the game, he can read the game. Halkett has always struggled this season because he's had poor partners, in my opinion. I think Halkett's still a very good player. I mean, he's PFA Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year last season. So I think he was a good addition. To be honest with you, mate, I was struggling to get a Hearts player in there, to be honest with you. And left back, Callum Waters. I watched him at McDermott. He got booked against the Saints, but he was actually really, really solid at left back. So yeah, Callum Waters at left back.
That's not a bad back five. We'll give you that.
Okay. Continue on. Going into midfield. Got 2-3 in there.
Yeah. So the two holders, I've got Rangers midfielder Ryan Jack and St Johnstone midfielder Ali McCann.
Interesting. Good 2 holding midfielders, arguably. Yeah.
3 in front of them, I've got Hamilton winger Mikael Miller, Motherwell centre midfielder Liam Polworth, and Aberdeen left midfielder Matty Kennedy.
Look at the St Johnstone bias coming in there, by the way.
Yeah.
And then up front, I think we can't really judge. That is the Celtic striker Odsonne Edouard.
Okay. I think.
What about Big Alfredo?
Got Ryan Jack in the team.
I put Ryan Jack in.
You've had a shocker there, Sean.
I was going to say, I've got a Columbia top on too, man.
To be fair, I actually had Ryan Christie and then Chris Long up front, but then I changed it at the last minute and I put Liam Polworth and Odsonne Edouard.
Okay, good stuff. We'll move on. Don, we'll start with your formation first.
This is going to be terrible. Come on, then.
Keeper defence.
Playing the old traditional I'm playing a 4-2-3-1 as well.
4-2-3-1, yeah.
So we're starting goals.
Absolutely. Go ahead, fire on.
Actually put myself in. No, I'm joking. So I put in Luke Southwood from Hamilton.
So from Hamilton, you've got.
I've got Luke Southwood in goals. I think he's a very good goalkeeper.
Okay, interesting. And four at the back.
I've copied Sean. I've got Stephen O'Donnell in at right back. I've got Aaron Hickey at left back.
Okay. Good stuff.
And centre halves of Marcus Fraser and Declan Gallagher.
Okay, Marcus Fraser of Ross County, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're not convinced?
So, that's
no,
2
Marcus
and 3.
Fraser.
And then 2 and 3 in midfield.
I've got a nice sitting two of a very unionist Ryan Jack and Lewis Ferguson.
Okay. Very much of, well, certainly Lewis Ferguson with his.
We don't want to walk into
Famous
them two,
uncle.
Jesus.
Very much a better together midfielder there, but okay. And we've got a front three. I've got Martin Boyle,
Okay.
got Alistair McCann,
Okay. Playing in the 10. Interesting.
and I have. Hold on, boys. 1 second.
Oh,
I went for
well,
Stephen Lawless as well on the wing.
that's not bad.
Interesting. Yep.
And
Okay.
up front is obviously pretty obvious. Is the main man Odston Edward.
Odds-on Edward. Very good. Okay. I'll hopefully be able. What I'll do is I'll watch this all back and I can maybe put all this visually on the screen as well, so that we don't lose track of who we picked. So 4-2-3-1 in there as well for Dawn as well. Cammy, yourself, what are we going for in terms of shape? And your
4-3-3, mate. 4-3-3.
4-3-3. Okay, I've gone
Right.
slightly different, by the way, but yeah, it's
Right, 2-3-6.
2-3-5. Back to the 1860s. Let's go.
Futsal formation. Right, Mr. Consistent in goals, Joe Lewis. Right back,
Okay.
Richard Foster. Mate, I had to get a Ross County player in there, and
To be fair, I did think about Richard Foster. That's not a bad right back decision. Yeah.
and I'd seen him. I ken he's not a bad right back. So, and then Gallagher from Motherwell pairing with Jason Kerr.
Good lad.
Left back, Aaron Hickey. Holding midfielder, Gary Dicker for Kilmarnock.
Good shout,
yeah.
Assistant, Mr. Enforcer. Box to box, Ryan Jack. A bit more attacking to the left side of the diamond, Craig Sibbald from Livy.
Okay.
Right wing Boyle, left wing Ross Wallace for St Mirren, and up front Odson Edward.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we've gone for the Ryan Jack connection in midfield. I'm not gonna lie.
But mate, Ryan Jack's quality, man. He's been class.
Fair.
So I've gone for a 3-4-3, which
Oh,
can
dear.
also
That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. in the
which
Scottish
could potentially go into a 5-2-3.
5-2. All right, Craig Levy.
So
Park with us.
as I've said, Ross County bosses on the touchline. I've gone with Vlasav Hladkate of St Mirren in goal.
Good keeper.
Seen him a couple of times. He's done a good job. I've gone for a back three of Jason Kerr of St Johnstone, Declan Gallagher of Motherwell, and Stuart Finlay of Kilmarnock. So that's my back three. I've gone for my wing back / midfielders. I've gone Martin Boyle on the right of Hibs and Aaron Hickey of Hearts on the left.
Martin Boyle is wing back.
I've seen him play there for a couple of times for Hearts, and I think he may have played there against.
Hearts.
Okay.
He doesn't play for Hearts, mate.
I've gone for a midfield two, and this is where I might get caught out. I've gone for Lewis Ferguson of Aberdeen and Lewis Smith of Hamilton. So
Okay.
Lewis Smith,
Yeah, too bad.
from what I've seen,
Ferguson,
has been a key figure for Hamilton this year, and I've gone for a front three of Alfredo Morelos of Rangers, Odson Edward of Celtic, and Lyndon Dykes of Livingston.
Thanks. Yes, there.
I've gone for.
What's your
I've
logic behind that? Just put them all up front and hope.
I've gone
Aye.
for the two
Outscorer.
prolific goal scorers out either side of the big target man in Lyndon Dykes.
Hi, can I ask a question, please?
Go for it. Absolutely.
Would your team play long ball football by any chance?
It might stretch to that, yeah. But I feel like it's certainly the fact that you might have big gaps in midfield with three such, you know, forward thinking forwards, and then you've got potentially the wide men open up more space in the middle of the park. So
I'd be getting Mikael Miller and Matty Kennedy on my wings, absolutely lumbasting your second back. That's me, like.
But yeah, certainly the 4-2-3-1 might kind of cause me a few issues with the three.
Especially with Martin Boyle as a wing back.
But see, I just thought that Martin Boyle has played as a sort of right side of a four in midfield for Hibs, so I thought maybe that was a reasonable option. He's got decent pace, a good engine, so.
He's been Hibs' best player since John McGinn, I think, in my opinion.
Very, very baller.
So good, and he's consistent as well. It's just a shame, well, I say a shame. It's a good thing that he's injured for Hibs, but for me anyway. But I think for Hibs, he's always the danger man in the derbies, the one that you worry about.
Also scores goals as well.
Yeah, exactly. But he would have been good to get in the Scotland team, you ken that, but he's away to Australia.
Yeah.
I know, he'd have probably got a game at some point.
What's that?
He would have got a game at some point in his career for Scotland, I reckon.
He's definitely bit of height as well, if, you know, kind of something we've struggled with a wee bit in the past.
We might get London Dykes, maybe, if we're lucky.
Every Scotland's dad's dream, get Dykes up front.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really about it. We've kind of gone through the limit, and I've realised that I might not even get this meeting extended this time. It's fairly stick to a 40-minute limit, so I've only got a minute and a bit left. But yeah, so kind of gone through it all there. Thanks very much for your suggestion, gentlemen. Very interesting to hear it. A lot of different personnel in there, and it was certainly one which I kind of expected, given the criteria of the challenge that was set. So.
Came one that I wish I could have got in was Gogic for Hamilton. What an underrated player.
I was going to play him as centre back instead of Halkett, to be honest, and Stendhal was the manager.
You're cruising for a bruising, sir.
Boy, can we get a footballer on getting a footballer on next week?
We can try. We'll see.
You better wrap this up, son. You better wrap this up. There's less than a minute. Come on.
Right. Anyway, guys, remember subscribe to the channel. I have a couple of parts coming out this week, so it should be fairly more concise than we have been. But yeah, until the next one, guys, we'll probably be back next week. We might even have a guest. Subscribe and all that kind of jazz. Thank you very much, guys. And we'll see you guys very